Equity in pharmacy is an objective, a target that we have to attain to achieve. Equity in pharmacy means inequity in some area in 3 domains: education, mainly the workforce, practice, and science. But we will focus on the practice in Africa. By saying this, it is important to have good capacities, pharmacists well-trained, pharmacists well-educated, and to ameliorate the access to services, to good services, access to medicines, to quality medicines, access to pharmaceutical care, access to healthcare for all. Examples are the inequalities of access to medicine in all the continents. You have the same problem everywhere. Why? Because the continent is reliable to importation of goods, of medicines. And in some countries, you will find good and good quality medicine in some main towns, and in remote areas, you will not find good medicines, good quality medicines. This is something which has to be changed. The other aspect is that you will not find pharmacies settings everywhere because of the lack of needs, because of lack of infrastructure in some areas. We need to insist on solidarity. We need to invest in workforce education. Investing in workforce education means having more lecturers, more teachers, more universities, and more students interested by pharmacy education. This is exactly what we had now in our country. In a country like mine, in many countries of the continent, people, young guys, young girls, without discrimination, want to become pharmacists. We should insist on that. No discrimination no sex discrimination between girls, female and male. This has to be promoted. Equality of sex in education. The other aspect, the other policy is to promote essential drugs everywhere in the continent. Promote manufacturing, local production everywhere in the continent. It is an area of development, an area of interest that should ameliorate the equity. By promoting workforce education, first, by improving the practice, second, and by the advocacy to the policymakers. FIP has a strong voice all over the world. FIP is listening. Working with on the umbrella of FIP will promote will promote success stories in practice education and also in health policies. Main one is universal health coverage, which is one of the targets that we have to achieve the next years. Energy, access to energy is a challenge, real challenge in Africa. Many countries don't have electricity access all over their country, all over the country. In some countries, only big towns have electricity. Remote areas do not have access to electricity. This has consequences on the practice of pharmacy. Without electricity, it's very difficult to have quality medicines well stored. Good quality medicine access is impossible without good electricity. Well, without electricity, you will not have safe and quality, safe and efficient drugs. Imagine a town, a region where you have temperature of 60 degrees. How can you have good drugs if you don't have electricity? Imagine some pharmacies staying 5 days in a week without electricity. It is very difficult to store vaccines, to store at low temperature medicines, and to store medicine in all the pharmacies. Electricity is needed to have AC to maintain the cold chain, which is important, and to have every time good quality medicine. We need to promote the access to energy, renewable, to have every time good medicines for the public, for our population. Evaluate the situation first in all the countries. The consumptions of electricity in every facility, I'm talking about maybe community pharmacies first, which are in contact with the public, and promote renewable energy. I want here to insist on solar energy, because God has given us this blessing, which is the sun everywhere in the continent. We have the capacity to develop renewable energy with the sun, with the light. And this can help pharmacy to get sustainable energy every time, to maintain the cold chain, to store the goods, the medicine in good condition for the benefit of the public, of the population. It is a problem, it is a challenge which has to be faced globally by politicians, by health policymakers, and pharmacists. The support of FIP is important. to achieve this equity. Thank you.